Hello, welcome back. I hope everyone's having a great day. Will Jessica Mulroney keep Meghan Markle's secrets and lie to her in the upcoming court case? I'm wondering, guys, with her distancing herself and saying that she no longer wants to be Jessica's friend, if she's going to side with her in the upcoming court case, and if Jessica will say that Meghan didn't ask her to give the contents of the letter to People magazine, or if she will now disclose that it was Meghan's idea. She's allegedly supposed to be one of the 5 friends that will have to give testimony in the high court in the case against the Mail on Sunday. So let's go ahead and get to the disclaimer. Full disclaimer can be found in the description block below. And all information was found on a public domain, and I'm using this under the Fair Use, Fair Dealing guidelines. And I thank you all for joining me. Don't forget to like if you like the video, share, and please subscribe. Thanks so much. Okay. Let's move up and let's get started. Jessica Mulroney has reportedly hired a big crisis PR team to rehab her image. In the wake of her white privilege scandal, Jessica Mulroney has reportedly hired a big crisis PR team to help her with her image. She's officially in damage control mode. Meghan Markle's former best friend recently came under fire for leveraging her white privilege against black influencer Sasha Exeter in an Instagram video. I think what made this worse was after she posted on there that her friend was right and that she should have used her platform, then she DM'd her a private message on Instagram asking a question about liable, as if she was insinuating that she would bring charges against her. We know that she lost all of her contracts that she had and her TV show. The situation escalated from there when Exeter reported that Mulroney had threatened legal action against her when she aired the details of their feud online. Mulroney ended up issuing an apology via the Instagram on June the 11th. Jessica's hired the big crisis PR team to deal with all the backlash against her, a source told Us Weekly. She's been talking to lawyers, image experts, and crisis PR teams. She's been having a lot of them over to her house to brainstorm and to find a way to put this behind her. Ultimately, only time will tell if Mulroney's reputation and her friendship with Meghan Markle can recover from this incident. Meghan Markle and Jessica Mulroney are reportedly no longer friends. Listen, I'm by no means calling Jess, and this is from Meghan, a racist, but what I will say is this. She is very well aware of her wealth, her perceived power and privilege because of the color of her skin, Exeter said in part. After this controversy blew up, the question remains, are Mulroney and Markle still friends per Us Weekly? The answer is a definitive no. Mulroney commented on Exeter's post with the following now deleted comment referencing her closest friend. And this was just what she had written to Sasha, and I think everybody's seen that. This apparently did not sit well with Meghan. This was hugely offensive to Meghan and the deciding factor for her. Meghan considers the relationship to be done, a source told Us, and a second source added, of course, Meghan is supportive of Jessica, as she is with all of her friends. Well, if she's supportive, why didn't she speak out on her behalf and say, I don't think she meant anything by it? And why didn't she have a conversation with her instead of ignoring her and putting it out in the press that she was no longer her friends? But it's a bit off-putting when Jessica seemingly uses her friendships for headlines. Meghan is very aware when people in her life do this. Okay, they were both using each other the same. I'm sure Jessica was using her friendship with Meghan to help her in social circles and in business, but Meghan was doing the very same. If it weren't for Jessica, she wouldn't have become friends with Marcus Anderson, and they wouldn't have been able to help set her up with Prince Harry. So she used them just the same. The recent scandal was reportedly just a straw in an already fading friendship. I don't believe that for 1 minute, because Jessica was babysitting Archie when she had traveled over to the UK. Jessica was there for her. She was helping style her clothes, especially in the beginning, so that when she had royal engagements, that she would have outfits that were picked out for her exclusively by Jessica. Multiple sources told Page Six that Meghan had already been wary of Mulroney's career benefiting from her position as Meghan's best friend. Meghan was a nobody. Jessica was more popular than Meghan was. This recent scandal was reportedly just last straw in already fading friendship, and goes on. Multiple sources told Page Six that Meghan had already been wary of Mulroney's career, whatever. I don't know what the tipping point was, but Jess has been on the outs for some time. Their friendship is definitely not what it was. Well, maybe it's got something to do with Marcus Anderson allegedly living and staying with Meghan and Harry, and they had a big falling out, and maybe Jessica sided with Marcus, because we know that if you don't agree with everything that Meghan wants, then you're not her friend after all. You have to bow down to her. And really, how can you have such a close friendship when one person is basically making a career out of the friendship? Again, Jessica had her own business. She didn't get the contacts and didn't get the contracts with different businesses because of Meghan. She got those in spite of Meghan. The Daily Mail reports rift between Jessica Mulroney and Meghan Markle deepens after the Duchess failed to wish the stylist's daughter a happy birthday, sparking worries their friendship is over for good. Now, it's what I understand is that Meghan is a godmother to Jessica's daughter, and they supposedly had a really great friendship, and she really cared a lot for her daughter. She had her in her wedding, along with Jessica and Ben Mulroney's boys. They were in the wedding as well. Meghan Markle's former best friend, Jessica Mulroney, is said to be concerned about the future of their friendship after the Duchess failed to get in touch with her on her daughter's birthday. Mulroney, 40, hosted a party for her youngest daughter, Ivy's 7th birthday, on June 12th, but it sparked fears that their friendship with the Duchess is now over for good when Markle didn't reach out. I don't think this is something that Jessica put out. I think it's just what people are assuming, and maybe Meghan put out that she hasn't called her and been in touch with her. Ivy was a bridesmaid at Markle's wedding with Mulroney's twin boys, Brian and John, also acting as page boys. They had barely spoken, and Jess agreed her husband, Ben, could confiscate her phone because she needed a break from the technology, a source told The Sun, because she was going back and forth and she was trying to fix this on social media herself, and I think ended up making it worse. But then everybody was picking up because of her relationship to Meghan Markle and wondering if it would have been such big news if she wasn't a friend of Meghan. So that goes both ways, Meghan. She was then really concerned why she didn't hear anything from Meghan on Ivy's birthday, and is worried their friendship is now over for good. She's been very upset about this whole situation. Meghan obviously can't be seen in public with her. She needs to cool it for now, but it will be surprising if she doesn't get back in touch, because Jess knows a lot. Jess, again, is Jessica going to testify in the court case that Meghan asked her to release the contents and provided her with the contents of the letter to give to People magazine? If that's the case, then her court case may not hold up, because it would have already been put out there by Meghan instead of just the father releasing it to the Mail on Sunday. Markle has reportedly distanced herself from Mulroney after the stylist threatened to sue black influencer Sasha Exeter when the pair got into a dispute over white privilege on Instagram. Now, I'm a little upset over what Sasha did. Sasha putting that all out there. If they were good friends and both in the same business, maybe they should have had the conversation privately, and she was very quick to go out there and bash Jessica Mulroney, not saying what she did was correct. And Jessica, I think in the heat of the moment, said things that she shouldn't have said, and don't know if she really threatened her or not. But I also think Sasha gained a lot of publicity off this, and made her brand more well-known out there. So everybody's using everybody. Exeter says Mulroney took offense to a generic call to action that was posted on her Instagram story weeks ago, that the pair then started arguing. She claimed the Canadian stylist, who rose to fame due to her friendship with Markle, shared a series of unpleasant messages in which she allegedly threatened to sue Exeter. Mulroney, a mother of three, admitted, "I was wrong after clashing with the lifestyle blogger, in the wake of the George Floyd protest." Yet she was promptly fired by ABC's Good Morning America and had her reality TV show, I Do Redo, canceled. Now, we all know that in the case of all the rioting, all of these companies started coming out, even YouTube, saying that we want people of color to have more access and to be able to have the same rights, which they already have the same rights, but they're talking about, that they want to promote them more. I don't know that you should promote one person of race over another person of race. And just like Serena Williams' husband stepped down from his position and said that he would like to see someone of color be the vice president of his company, Reddick. And then also Jessica's husband, Ben Mulroney, stepped down from one of his shows and said that he too would like to step aside to give a person of color a chance to do their job. That doesn't mean someone of color is going to be hired for those positions, and I'm not sure taking such drastic measures is the way to go either. I think sometimes in the heat of the moment, people give in and make such drastic changes. Maybe these companies, off the cuff made these changes a little too quickly without talking with her and giving her a chance to explain herself. That's neither here nor there, and I'm wondering what you guys think. She also made the decision to step away from a charity she founded with her sister-in-laws in the wake of the outrage. Mulroney has now reportedly hired lawyers, image experts, and crisis PR teams to help her with the backlash. She's going to try and prove herself, I understand, but it's absolutely the wrong thing to do, the source told The Sun. It's not the moment for that with everything that's going on in the world. Nobody cares about your social media. She's a little bit addicted to it. And I'm sure she is an influencer. So influencers use the social media platform to get their business out there and to market what they're doing. She's constantly on the phone. She'd reply to all of us in the negative comments on her Instagram. She would engage with people, and then she'd delete her responses. We saw this over and over that they added. She needs to lay low, just be a mom for a while, and hope people start to forget about this. Well, I disagree and think that laying low doesn't mean it's going to go away. I think she does need to learn, and I think if she wants to get her business back on track, that she does need a PR firm, or she needs somebody that is a specialist in this area that can tell her the proper way to go about addressing these comments and getting her message out there. On Monday, the 44-year-old TV host and son of former Canadian Prime Minister Brian Mulroney announced that he's stepping down from CTV entertainment show E-Talk amid his wife's headline-grabbing race row. He said that he would be immediately leaving the show that he had been on for 18 years. I don't think that's the right thing to do either, especially when you've lost all these businesses then that you're working with, or his wife is. Then he certainly needs to keep his income coming in. That's going to cause more stress, and now you got to pay for this PR team. I think him stepping away is not going to do anything to improve her image. It's her image, not his, that's been affected. It is my hope that the new anchor is Black, Indigenous, or a person of color, and that they can use this important platform to inspire, to lead, and to make change, he added. The source told The Sun that this has caused friction between the couple. And there's a picture of Ben and Jessica. An insider told Page Six that his relationship was already on the out because Meghan felt that Jessica was making a career out of their friendship. Speaking to Page Six, the source said the white privilege row has really given Meghan the excuse she was wanting to cut Jessica off for good. I don't think she needed an excuse. If Meghan wants to cut you off, she's going to do it no matter what. I think because she was trying to be a spokesperson for Black Lives Matter and help her if she did have aspirations of going into politics, that Meghan didn't want to be seen as someone that was a friend of a white person who has this going on, especially in a public forum. So we all know how Meghan is. I don't know what the tipping point was, but Jess has been on the outs for some time. Their friendship is definitely what it was. And really, how can you have such a close friendship when one person is basically making a career out of their friendship? See, I think this is all that something that Meghan's put out there to say that Jessica's upset and that she now gets the message because she didn't call her to wish her daughter a happy birthday, her own godchild. When adults are having conflict or there's a disagreement between you, you don't take it out on the children. Obviously, Meghan does. Shock claim, dump Jessica Mulroney's vows, Meghan will pay. So I put this in my last video. The Duchess of Sussex best friend and stylist Jessica Mulroney has found herself fired by most of the clients' TV contacts over attempts to ostracize black influence Sasha Exeter in her native Canada. And it says under the headline, she's not one to take something lying down. And this is by New Idea. So with Meghan distancing herself, says Jessica is dumbfounded by Meghan abandoning her in her hour of need, and a friend doesn't do that. And she's not one to take something lying down. Jessica is the gatekeeper of every one of Meghan's secrets, and by proxy, Harry and the Palace's secrets. Now, wouldn't you think that Meghan would know the truth of whether or not... Jessica would know the truth of whether or not Meghan used a gestational surrogate. She would know whether or not she was trying to trick Harry by acting like Diana and doing all these motherly things, and she was probably in cahoots with her on trying to help her land him. She was also good friends with Corey Viatello, and they used to go out to dinner, and there's pictures of them all going out as a group. So, by proxy, Harry and the Palace's secrets. If she were to get revenge by doing a tell-all, results could be disastrous. I think that it's been said that everyone around Meghan Markle, including everyone that attended the wedding, had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and everybody that works for her, we know, have thousands of rules and her commandments on how you are to interact with her. And I'm sure that Jessica is also signed this. CCN reports Meghan Markle's best friend is getting markled, and it couldn't be more hilarious. So often rumored to be the secret weapon Meghan Markle used to control the media narrative, Jessica Mulroney is suddenly facing the music she was involved with her in the past. In somewhat ironic turn of events, Jessica Mulroney is facing the exact tactics that she herself had reportedly carried out on Meghan's behalf for years, working with her sister-in-law's friend at Tattler magazine, on the Catherine the Great magazine, and the article talking about Catherine and being exhausted and tired, but we know that she's one of the sources allegedly that has put a lot of stuff out in the media, along with Omid and all that. She was one of Meghan's minions, and we know that she did a lot for her. Anyone who has followed the shenanigans of Meghan Markle and her infamous unnamed friends, the ones who seem to leak information to the media on a regular basis, has enjoyed a bit of poetic justice over the past few days. For a long time, there's been rumors that many of Meghan's attempts to control the media narrative have come from her right-hand woman, her best friend of many years. Jessica Mulroney has curated somewhat of a reputation in the media world. She's known for crushing anyone who dares stands in her path. And that's just a picture of Jessica on the day of the wedding. Trying to influence a Mel on Sunday interview with Meghan's former advisor, Gina Crown, and being rumored to be part of the Tattler article that caused Duchess Kate Middleton so much anguish are just two recent examples. Now, we know that Kate and William have taken the Tattler, or taken them to court. So now, they have to reveal their source, the lady who wrote the article, that one of her co-workers, which is the sister-in-law of Jessica and her husband's sister, she put the bug in her ear to help to get this article written about Kate Middleton. This may all come out in court. And wouldn't you love to see that William and Kate find out that it was Meghan Markle and her friends that actually made up these lies and end up getting sued by her? Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is one of the reasons why Harry and Meghan have are no longer using the palace's attorneys over in the UK. I think they don't want to be a part of this because I think they think it's a conflict of interest because they'll represent William and Kate and all of these other legal proceedings that are going to be coming out. I think they don't want it to look like the palace is going after the media and newspapers and bringing lawsuits against them because that's not something they're known for doing. So again, I don't think Harry and Meghan fired their law team in the UK. I think the law team said, we no longer want to represent you because of all these things. Mulroney was always willing to and able to do the dirty work for Meghan Markle, wouldn't risk her reputation carrying out until Jessica made a career-ending blunder. She grossly misjudged how far she could take her bullying. There's no hotter topic, at the moment than racism and racist celebrities. Social media is awash with individuals looking to point the accusatory finger of doom wherever they sense a slight whiff of social injustice. Unfortunately for Miss Mulroney, she knows this feeling all too well, as the past week or so she has seen her entire media career evaporate before her very eyes. And this is her husband, Ben Mulroney. What's sad is that I don't believe Jessica Mulroney is a racist, and neither does Meghan Markle, if reports are to be believed. But again, he stepped down from one of his jobs. And this just kind of goes on to talk about that again. For Meghan, it's all about brand Markle. And we know that. She's going to do whatever is best for her. She doesn't care who she walks on. She doesn't care who she casts aside from her inner circle. That Meghan Markle would cast aside her best friend of so many years so readily, despite not believing her to be a racist, speaks volumes. It should come as a surprise to no one. For Meghan, the Duchess of difficult brand must be preserved above all. We all know that during this pandemic, Meghan hasn't been able to get anything going, and with supposedly or allegedly signing to the Harry Walker agency, where she'll be a highly paid guest speaker at events and have Harry too. But again, when I go on there, I can't find either one of them listed. They may have signed and just not have them on their site yet. So everything else is secondary. Husbands, boyfriends, best friends, even family. We all know that. Meghan will throw anybody under the bus. Okay, so that's right. Jessica Mulroney is being Markled. Mulroney must have known this was coming. She was one of the ones who wrote the playbook after all. Obviously, ditching her best friend over racism allegations wasn't quite enough. The reason why, it didn't make Meghan the center of attention. So, as we all know, it doesn't include Meghan. It's not really worth talking about. It wasn't long until the first media articles began to drop featuring the quotes and insider information that was that the only anonymous yet all-knowing friends of Meghan could provide. Meghan's friends have been concerned for some time that Jessica's profiting from her. See, guys, this is all stories put out by Meghan. It's from Meghan's point of view. Boom, just like that, Meghan Markle is in front and center of this story. And then it just says Meghan's accolades have made her the center of the discussion yet again. So by putting it out there that she's no longer her friend, that she's going to kick her when the stakes are down, then Meghan's putting herself back in the limelight, and she wants to be in the leader of the narrative. Nope, you have to issue a swift kick to the stomach as she's down and out on the sidewalk, just to make sure it's Meghan Markle who's the center of attention and not the actual victim. I'm sure Jessica Mulroney is reading these recent developments with precious little surprise. She would have known this was coming. And then it says she'll know by what's true now is what's always been true. It's all about Meghan. And a couple of people under the article said, Diana said, Jessica is getting what she deserves on so many levels. As to Meghan kicking her while down, Jessica knows where the bodies are buried with respect to Meghan. Perhaps she needs to release those bodies via anonymous friends. Karma, girls. And grown up Irene says, no, Jessica's not getting what she deserves. Exeter pulled the race card on her and destroyed her career. That woman isn't a racist. So when I went on to look at a lot of the other comments, it's 50-50 divided. So people are siding with Jessica, and then people are siding against her, but that's because of her relationship to Meghan Markle. Hey, you again, Meghan Markle, doing a lot of work defending your idol lately. You'll need to work much harder if you want to put a dent in that public perception of her. I'll go as far as to say you'll never do it. It was Mulroney who first brought the Mad Mayor into it. She talked about her close friend and didn't actually use her name. This is exactly what the Mad Mayor loves. She became the real victim, and others were lost in the story. It was suddenly all about the insane one. Perfect. What Meghan wants, Meghan gets. And then Diana says Jessica is getting what she deserves on so many levels, as to Meghan kicking her while down. I think that was a repeat. What is Jessica Mulroney's net worth? It says that after a show was canceled from Good Morning America, that she's lost all of her other contracts, but she does have other businesses. But it said that her net worth is, she does come from a wealthy family with a background in apparel manufacturing. Her distant cousins manage the famed brown shoes brand. She grew up loving fashion. In 2016, the Globe and Mail profiled her as she talked about her interest in bridal style. While working as a lingerie distributor, she was offered a position with Kleinfeld's, a company that specializes in bridal wear. We all know Kleinfeld's wedding designs. So she would go in and work as a stylist and help brides, and she was on a couple of shows helping brides find the perfect wedding dress. And she was also working as director for the brand and aided in building its Canada division. But in light of recent events, she was let go as a fashion specialist. So they are reportedly to be worth, about $10 million, and I think Jessica about $1 to $5 million. Okay, so let's go on. Mulroney once served as television host and commentator for CTV's E-Talk Breakfast Television. Things took off for her as a stylist, and over the years, she forged partnerships not only with brands, but famous folks too. One of her most recent clients was Mindy Kaling, whom she dressed her for the 2020 Academy Awards. Mulroney is married to Ben Mulroney. For those who don't know, Mulroney's husband Ben, the son of former Canadian Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, is a famous Canadian television host who's been compared in Canada to Ryan Seacrest in America. The Mulroneys knew each other as teams, and it was Ben who introduced Jessica to the Trudeaus, as he and Justin Trudeau have been friends since elementary school. And then Toronto Life once described skipping down the Mulroneys as city's most polished power couple. Canadians have mixed feelings about the duo, but at times they've leveraged their fame to collaborate with companies such as Metro Grocers. And then she also dressed Justin's wife, Sophie. Her combined, and this talks about the combined salary, together about 10, Jessica individually from about 1 to 5 million. And there's Jessica, and here she is with Meghan, and this is, here she is on an article in Tattler. And this just goes on to say again that Jessica Mulroney's found herself in the news this week, having been implicated in the Mail on Sunday's defense case against the Duchess of Sussex. Papers filed by the news outlet identify Mulroney as among one of the 5 friends seeking to orchestrate favorable articles about the royal. Oh, that wasn't one of the 5 friends. This was just to her sister-in-law. Sorry, different article. It says seeking to orchestrate favorable articles about the royal. Mulroney certainly seems to be a loyal friend, but just who is the fashion maven? I don't think Meghan has any sense of style. All she did was wear people's jewelry and allowed to be photographed in it, and then for them to use that on their websites. She was making money, and she was getting free jewels. And Jessica was, we know it was said that Jessica would call different companies to look to get samples that they said that she was getting for Meghan and for herself. Okay, so court papers allege, and this is from Tattler, that Meghan Markle enlisted Jessica Mulroney to influence the newspaper article. All this stuff is going to come out. It's a case of poor timing for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, as the court papers filed by the Associated Newspapers yesterday allege that Meghan asked her close friend Jessica Mulroney to influence the tone of a newspaper article based on an interview with her former business advisor, Gina Crown. It comes after the couples wrote on their Sussex Royal website that they would only be working with select journalists from credible organizations. So it was where she had friends, People Magazine, Oprah Magazine, or O. So anyway, organizations in the future, rather than adhering to the royal rota system of royal correspondence. So now Associated Papers are claiming that the Duchess was well versed in the art of attempting to manipulate what was written about her, releasing documents that show her confidant, stylist, and close friends, Jessica Mulroney, attempting to change the tone. Okay, so we know all that. We know this. The documents also allege that Meghan shared the contents of a private letter to her father with People magazine via her friends, and Jessica Mulroney is alleged to be one of those 5, prior to the Mail on Sunday publishing them. So everything hinges on whether or not she did give the friends this information, and how could they have given it to People if Meghan didn't supply it to them. So if it was already out there on the public domain, then Meghan's case is going to fall apart, and she won't be able to win against the Mail on Sunday. In fact, I hope they countersue against her. The paper's defense lawyers have asked for the disclosure of all of Meghan's communications that show her intervening with the media, permitting friends to influence what was published about her. These are just some of the articles that's out there, so you can see everything's about Meghan. Meghan's just putting it out there. Has Meghan Markle frozen out her best friend? Meghan Markle fears Jessica Mulroney is profiting from her link to her. Meghan Markle is done with BFF Jessica Mulroney amid backlash. Meghan's got to be in those headlines. So, who is Meghan Markle's best friend, Jessica Mulroney? So, we know that she's a Canadian stylist, age 37, and it was asked if she would be the godmother to Meghan and Harry, and as far as we know, she wasn't. They often took lavish trips together. They bonded over a love of yoga and holidayed together in Italy in 2016, and it was said she met her on the set of Suits because Jessica was being a stylist to some of the actors on it. Jessica was one of the first 3 people, along with Meghan's mom, Doria, and Harry's mate, Soho House consultant Marcus Anderson, to join the Suits actress and Harry in the royal box at the Invictus Games. There she is, walking up the young bridesmaids at the wedding, and she was trying to do a Pippa Middleton thing with wearing the same style dress in the back so everybody would focus on her bum. Was she maid of honor at the royal wedding? No. But she was very present on the day, and she was helping out. And again, her daughter and twin boys were in the wedding. And this is a picture of her outside their home with her lovely kids. And she is a beautiful woman. And I thank you all for joining me. This is for those who like the longer video. I published earlier a 6-minute, 30-second video for those who like it in the movie version, which is the headlines and the focus of content on what each article is about. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you like it. And I look forward to seeing you or hearing from you, and we'll see you soon in the next video. Everyone have an awesome day, and thank you for your support.